This is Justin Scoop on Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Taking a look at SPX and just a couple things, hopefully quickly. So we ended up having a Fed announcement, FOMC announcement. We rallied, really great bull engulfing candle. Looks like we're headed straight up to a new all-time high. We actually hit 6,900 here. Uh, Very much on the nose, 6,967 cents. Um, little bit of an upper wick, not a problem. Looks like we should just be smooth sailing from here, keep going up. We bounced really nicely off this purple line. So yeah, we stayed just above that. I would have loved just a tag to it. I was looking for a slightly lower price to go bullish on something here. But once the Fed announcement came out right around 1 p.m. Central Time, it was just all bulls. There's a lot of choppiness in here, but it gave you some great opportunities to buy back off of the 100. I just have it zoomed out here so you can see. Ignore the red line, but we pushed up above the previous high over here just a few days ago. We just zoom in on today. You can see just the. Actually, let's just zoom in on before 1 o'clock on this. Just the choppiness. There was some structure here. Um, Let me draw a couple things for this. So you had a really nice kind of double bottom shape. You had a really nice double top shape. Just some of the patterns we've been noticing recently. Another double top sort of shape here. This was kind of like a trap because we've got some down channel or some kind of wedge sort of compression here. I kind of like this just being kind of relative lows and breakout. But then once it got to a new high in the day, it put in a huge upper wick. Sorry, this was a high of the day so far, not a total high in the day. And then we were just kind of slanted down right into the announcement. It's like this is probably going to go bullish, and then sure enough, a lot of bulls, a lot of bulls. So there we go. Okay, so we ended up running up a lot, really strong up. The options were really bizarre, just the way things were working today. This is the 68.75 call. So you can see it had relatively flat lows until the 1 o'clock time frame hit. Actually, no, this was 142. Sorry, we pulled back. So this was 1 o'clock over here. Huge upper wick. Um, just again, looking for structure day, looking for something to kind of hold more or less some highs through here, really relative lows all through here, really nicely holding at the right around what is that 650 on the low here. Like you could just trade this, just okay, sell up here, buy down here. If you bought this one, you would have been holding on for a while because it didn't run up till there. And then once we broke out, a lot of choppiness with this option, so much further out of the money. It actually pulled back a couple of times, taking out previous lows, putting a low of the day here before just rallying strong. And a lot of the options look this way. If we look at 68.50, obviously it's going to be much more expensive. Um, where it pulled back wasn't as steep. It had put in a low of the day earlier, really rallied strongly off of the $12 price here, previous low. So this is actually a good day to be, buying at a low, selling at a high, and having a small risk because the market makers weren't really going to be giving up much of that premium as before, as the morning went on before the announcement. There was some choppiness. This is a 6,900 put, so it's like really expensive, not a lot of volume here. And then just to show it's like, okay, we actually hit 6,900 on the nose, and it was still with less than 30 minutes, it still had a $5, nearly $5 of premium still in it, even though it was at the money. And so then this, as we got that little bit of that upper wick on the daily, it just rallied here into the close as the calls were pulling back some. Uh, it just depends on which one you're looking at. But as this was pulling back, you're getting that rally. 6,900 is a nice round number to look for. So it was a good place to be taking profits if you were in any of this. Taking profits up here, again, ignore the red line. That doesn't mean anything. It's skewed from this line. Okay. All that said, look how strong this is. Look how bullish this is. And well, we got a little bit of a problem because I glanced over at futures and pulled up the ES. So here is Wednesday. So this is kind of weird to look at, but yeah. So Wednesday today trades, basically all day except for the 4 to 5 p.m. Central Time hour. So today, in terms of like matching up with the the traditional market hours, is going to be, let's see, around this time frame from about 8:30. I think I got this close. Yeah, from about 8:30 a.m. till about 3 p.m. Or at 3 p.m. This kind of matches what we were just looking at SPX. Okay, more or less, and it's supposed to match it. It's an index. So, okay, let's see what's happened since that 3 p.m. close. Oh, look, we have sunk. So we had a small gap down from the 4 p.m. close to the 5 p.m. open. And then we have been sinking a lot. There's a bunch of volume here, getting back below 68.50. Looks like we're rallying a little bit right now as I'm doing this just before midnight. But basically, okay, let me find the 8:30 time frame and I'll just put all of it on. Okay, so from about 8:30 when we opened Wednesday till right now when I'm doing the video just for midnight, we took out the lows that we were holding so nicely here that I was just drawing. Like, hey, look, here's some relative lows, right? We took those out. Had a nice hammer there. Um, it makes me second guess all of what I just went through at SPX, and it's like, oh, maybe we're not so bullish. Maybe this is a trap. Definitely a lot of bulls getting in today. I have no idea what this volume is. What is that? That's right before close. That's got to be pre-planned. Right before close, having a ton of volume. Right before the 3 o'clock close. It makes this volume look really, really small here, where there's a bunch of just selling going on. So I don't know if there's, and I was what 2100 is 9 p.m. Central. So I don't know if there was some other news. I don't know. I know there was news at 1 p.m. Central with the FOMC minutes, and then Powell coming out at I think about 1:30 p.m. Central Time. Uh, but all of this after all this since 3 p.m. Central Time, it took out all of that bullishness. We're below it. Like we're below that 1 p.m. rally time, right? I'm not sure what to make of that. We probably this volume is from taking out that 1 p.m. candle. It's probably what it is because so where we got the cursor is right about the low around 68.45. And so you can see all through here, we crushed below. We just took all that out. So if anybody was buying this today and didn't exit at any point, maybe they've got to stop here and they're getting stopped out. I don't know. I don't normally look at the ES to talk through this. So I don't have a lot of things I've got drawn on here. All I'm looking at is levels right now. And so if we in fact do, uh, continue lower, we've trapped. So I've got the same four, um, corners, story corner options. So this is the daily. So I'm going to zoom way back in on this. Nope, that's not the daily. This is the SPY. I thought I had that on ES. My bad. Here's the S. And if I zoom in all the way up here, so already where we're at, we have taken out the low. We've gone back above the low right now from Wednesday's candle. This is basically building Thursday's candle, the December 11th candle. That's just how it works on ES. So it's like just the way it keeps track of it because it starts the 5 p.m. Central. That's the start of the next day or how it clocks it here. Anyway, if we do actually, in fact, open down here, we'll have trapped all of Wednesday, continued bearish from any of these candles, trapped any bulls on all these lower wicks. Depends on how low we open. Like it could be a massive day. And depending on where it opens, it's very possible we could get down into the range of this candle or this candle. These two candles being those massive bookend candles. Didn't think we'd see another one. We've been above it. If we get it around, if we get an open around that same place, so let me go to that back over here. Let's say, and so this is where SPX doesn't show anything going on yet because, well, it's the future. So um, it's the next day. Anyway, if we get, and the prices are similar. Oops, I meant to go back up into ES. So the prices are a little bit off. But the low here at the 21, I'm going to say the 21s are similar in location, pretty straight line here. You tag that around 68.15. So if I go back over here, that would be around 6,800 here because it's pretty straight here. So maybe 6,800. If we tagged that and bounce a little bit, so we're still pretty good ways away from this upper level and this upper level. Those are both below or right at the purple line. So it would take quite a bit more selling to actually push us down there. If that were to happen, this could be an island reversal from this gap here. If we do gap past and continue trading down, that's the only way that would be in like an island reversal. And we were talking about that over here, having an island over here, and then we ended up closing that island on these days and then fully closing it, closing back up to the close price over here. Anyway, I have no idea if it'll gap down, if we'll do some sort of recovery before 8:30 Central tomorrow, Thursday. These are just some of the things I am keeping an eye on and was not expecting that at all. It's like, oh, I get to talk about how strong everything was today. And then when I checked into futures right before hitting record for this one, it's like, oh, that's not at all what I expected. So one thing we can do is look back to see where else have we had a lot of bull strength and all that getting taken out by a gap down below it. And so I don't think you have to go too far, but we've had it happen, and because we've been so strong, it really hasn't meant so much. But here's a really good one. Here's some bullishness coming in, kind of holding through this level, gap down, and it just continued to crush. This was going back to April. Um, let's see. Here's a good one where we had some bullishness, some strength through here. This is another sizable candle. This one was pretty small, taking it out, but then this one, there's been some other news on that. That was December 18th of 2024, so about a year ago for that one. I didn't do any of this ahead of time just to look through. I'm just looking now. Here's the upper end of that channel, bull candle, gap down below, continue to kind of roll back lower. That's kind of potential that we've got right now with where things are here. If we do gap down, we're going to trap a lot of bulls, especially trapping everybody from today's candle. This can definitely be a trap setup. It's not kind of the traditional like high hesitate trap. I'm not seeing that exactly because for that to trap, I would expect this candle today to take out the high over here. We didn't do that. It could be kind of like a local trap, but then again, how much of a island reversal would it set up? Are we going to gap down, have some bears get in, and then bulls are going to close out positions, going to push down? Then we're going to get a reverse and gap up and trap all those bears. Like I don't know. It's kind of what we did over here, where we're trading lower, put in this nice candle, got a bull gap up, and then rallied. So it's like we trapped bear. We got some selling to come in, then we trapped the bears and ran up, just continue going up. So with this day, like a little bit of rest. Okay, hey, now we're going lower. Everyone's in bearish. Nope, we're even that same day. Nice lower wick, nice gap bullish, little bit of a run. So if you're doing anything with day trading, be somewhat quick to take profits. That's one of the things to look for here. Now, if we do get one of those bigger selling days because of the potential here with how many bulls get in, trapping folks, we could have a bit of a runner. Like we had on the 20th of November and on October 10th. We're similar to the month, with it being December 12th. 2 months ago today was this candle, and then a little less than a month ago was this candle. Uh, so, I mean, could we do another one of those? Entirely possible. I don't think I have the right tool in here to do a fib time. Maybe there is one. I'm not used to these tools. Is that a fib time? Oh, fib time. Let's go see what this, if it does anything. Is that, I don't know what that did. Just put a bunch of lines in here. I'm not seeing it line up with this day at all. So, okay, get rid of that. I'll have to play around with that because that didn't really line up how I thought it might. But yeah, all right, I'm just rambling on now. Didn't mean for this to be so long, but it just took me by surprise. So, got to just trade the chart and seeing right at the end of the day today, I was realizing, oh, I've got some positions, some bullish positions that I've been hanging on to that have lost some value. Hey, they're moving back up. This is looking good. I should be fine to let those continue to run. 700 or 7,000 here on SPX. Here we go. 700 on SPY. Here we go. And now I'm wondering, am I going to get stopped out of those now or tomorrow morning when market opens? Probably I'll get stopped out if we actually stay down where we are uh, right now. And obviously, right now is changing because market ES is open right now. The index futures is open right now trading. So, could we do some rallying? We should definitely get back up to the 1 o'clock price. So, if you're trading futures and you watch this, and we should get back up here, we should come up to 68.50 probably. Tag the 100, could reverse rollover. We interacted with it some here, kind of paused there a little bit. That's good. We bounced off it over here. We kind of double bottomed or multi bottomed off of it, or that kind of being the neckline here, and then rallied. So we should interact with 100. Definitely look for that. Could pause there on its way back up. And then I don't know how much more up it's going to be. This looks really, really bearish, which has me just singing a different tune because I thought we were already super bullish coming out of Wednesday's candle. So it's another kind of wait and see. All right, is this going to follow through or is it not? Because if it's not going to follow through, there's some problems ahead. All right, hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.